When we talk about a player as gifted as Andrea Pirlo, it's so hard to point out what exactly made him such a special talent, because if we're being real about things, there's just too many reasons that made Pirlo one of the smoothest operators in the game. The Italian enjoyed unprecedented success in a trophy-laden career, and the amount of silverware he collected doesn't even explain the impact he had on the game. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode on Goalside, where we just can't help ourselves when it comes to providing you with a different perspective on the game. Make sure to subscribe to our channel because we pretty much have something for everyone here. From the current state of things to making nostalgic trips down memory lane, Goalside is your one-stop shop for everything football. Today we're going to talk about the legend that is Andrea Pirlo, a creative midfielder whose grace on the ball and composure when under pressure helped him to a bucket load of success wherever his career took him. We're going to explore what qualities made Pirlo such a treat to watch and why it's that even though he wasn't the most physically gifted player ever, still ended up being a midfield general for club and country. We urge you to watch the complete video because we have a surprise for you. We could tell you exactly what time we'd reveal the surprise, but that would spoil all the fun, so stay tuned. What would you call Pirlo based on his ability on the field? A playmaker? A set-piece maestro? A sniper roaming around the base of the midfield? Patiently waiting for the right opportunity to strike with a pinpoint pass that would always cleave a defence in half? Or maybe a supremely gifted midfielder whose nonchalant demeanour on the field made him the perfect ruse? The answer to that is all of these that we just mentioned. While he did spend a major chunk of his career as a deep-lying midfielder, Pirlo never really looked like a player who would just settle in one role throughout the game. The Italian loved going further up the pitch, but always ensured that his forays did not result in a situation where the defence would be exposed. After rising to emergence as a youth player at Brescia, Pirlo ended up at Inter Milan, where he was expected to shine. However, that Inter team featured the likes of Roberto Baggio, Yuri Djorkaeff and Ronaldo, among many other top players. The youngster was never going to get enough game time at the expense of these players at the age of 18, but AC Milan decided to take a gamble and brought him to the San Siro. And this is where the legend of Pirlo began. The midfielder never looked back, helping himself to 6 Serie A titles, 2 European Super Cups and 2 Champions League titles, while also grabbing a few individual accolades on the way. Pirlo was a true regista, the likes of which we haven't seen a lot of in recent years. In an international career that began in 1994, when he featured for Italy's under-15 side, Pirlo dazzled everyone, at every level, and even got himself a bronze medal at the 2000 Olympics in Sydney. In the same year, Italy won the under-21 European Championships, and guess who led the team? The captain was also named Player of the Tournament. This was a prodigious talent that was recognised at a very young age, but once he started playing at the international level, the whole world knew who Andrea Pirlo was. In 2002, Pirlo made his debut for the Italian senior side and went on to represent the Azzurri 116 times for the next 13 years. While he did represent his country at 3 European Championships and 3 World Cups, perhaps Pirlo's best moment was when he was able to help Italy lift the World Cup in 2006 against all odds. This was a national team that was trying to come out unscathed from the damage Italian football was facing in the wake of the Calciopoli scandal. But yes, this doesn't answer the question that we've all wondered at some point: what exactly made Pirlo so special? One of the best explanations of this could be the fact that Pirlo had this uncanny ability to cover his inadequacies perfectly. Pirlo couldn't dribble, he didn't have explosive pace, nor did he have enough muscle to hold his own against the more physically gifted contemporaries. He was never a tackler or an enforcer anyway. Knowing all too well his shortcomings, Pirlo made sure that he kept improving on his strengths. A sleek touch, an eye for a perfect pass, and the patience to make the move only when everything was in order. He would simply roam around the middle of the park, making observations, and then out of nowhere would deliver a sumptuous pass that would change the course of an entire game. While his teammates at AC Milan would simply zoom past him or bulldoze their way around the park, Pirlo never needed to stretch his body to the limits. Why hurry or fluster when you know that you can only lose the ball if you wanted to? In fact, the best AC Milan squads under Carlo Ancelotti were those that understood how to play at Pirlo's speed. Pirlo thrived in an era when we had the pleasure of witnessing the rise of Xavi and Paul Scholes. With players of such quality around you, how can you not look good? Even in the latter stages of his career, Andrea Pirlo continued making players look good around him. Imagine how far the likes of Gennaro Gattuso, Massimo Ambrosini, Paul Pogba and Claudio Marchisio could have gone without sharing the field with the maestro. The best case study of Pirlo's sheer brilliance is from the quarter-final of the 2012 European Championship against England. He was up against the likes of Steven Gerrard and Scott Parker, 2 men who had the reputation of coming full steam at opponents. But in that game, Pirlo outpassed England's entire midfield. And when the game went into penalties, Pirlo would show again why he was the perfect example of how not to get riled up. Before he was about to get ready to take a penalty, Joe Hart tried his best to wind up the Italian, whose face had zero expression. But when it came time to walk the walk, Pirlo came up with a ludicrous panenka that changed the England shopstopper forever. He was never the same since. Okay, so how about we give you a chance to win a $100 Amazon gift card? Just answer this question and let us know in the comments what you think of this video, and who knows, we might be knocking at your door in the coming days. Which MLS team did Pirlo play for before retiring? In recent years, we've seen a lot of great players take on the field and win our hearts due to their varying qualities. Ronaldinho was a magician and did things on the field not many players would dare to do. Ronaldo and Messi took perfection to another level. Zlatan Ibrahimovic was an arrogant presence on the field, but his performances always justified that. Scholes was never the most talked about player at Manchester United, but was so crucially linked to Sir Alex Ferguson's success at Old Trafford. In a similar vein, Pirlo was a special player, someone whose lack of pace or little to no dribbling skills never came in the way of his performances. The Italian knew how to work within his skill set and never tried to push himself to acquire a few more weapons. In fact, the weapons he had kept getting sharper as he gained more experience. This was a player who would define the outcome of many games with a nonchalant style of football. He would never be slaloming past opponents, but seeing him move was like poetry in motion. Every touch oozed with class, while every pass seemed as if a painter was choosing a particular colour from a palette without even looking at it. He always seemed to know what to do and where to pass and exactly how to pass. Those geometric passes, while the untidy locks in his hair flowed, were what made Pirlo the coolest football player we ever knew. While he's retired, his legacy lives on. Many have come and tried to replicate his style, but no one has ever come anywhere near the brilliance of Il Maestro, whose fingerprints are all over the modern history of Italian football.